Hey, hey, hey! Look who's back. It's your two favorite dads talking. Shh. First of all, thank you to all of Shit Talking Army for all the likes, the comments, the subscribes, and also hit that bell notification so you know when we go on live. It is Thanksgiving week, and we both would like to say Happy Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
to all the army out there that is tuning in for us. We have an exciting show here today that I think some of you are going to relate to. But before we get to that, let me talk to my partner in crime, my main man, Detroit's finest. Daniel, what's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, doing very well, doing very well. Dude, I got a story to tell you real quick. So,
Uh-oh, what's going on in Daniel world?
so this morning was a fun-filled morning. I'll believe it like that. So what ended up happening was I was going on to a client meeting. It was one of those client meetings where it's like, you got it. You better get your ass in that call. You know, that kind of meeting.
Okay.
So what ended up happening here was as soon as we just got on Zoom call and we were just about to start talking, it was like my wife called. I was like, okay, mute it. She called again. And I was like, okay, she called me twice. What's going on here? I said, so hold on. Or I told my clients, hold on a minute. Just let me see what's going on. Dude, she took both of my sons to a doctor's appointment. And what ended up happening was my oldest son, he got sick. He threw up 3 times.
Oh, no.
And then you know what else happened after that? She's pulled over, got the boys out. She's cleaned it, and it's freaking cold out right now.
The reason why I'm dressed like the abominable Negro.
Uh, she locked the keys in the car.
Oh, say it ain't so.
Yeah. So no, there's no Starbucks, no nothing around. So she called me and she's like, "Can you please bring the spare keys?" I was like, "Absolutely." So I was like, "Let's." If it's, I told them the situation. They're like, "Get your ass up there and get your wife and boys." I was like, 100%. I'm on it right now. So I got all the way up there. Is from Bertha to Fort Collins, about a half an hour drive, whatever. Got her the keys, helped her clean up. Boys are good. It's like, okay, great. I start driving back home with my youngest son, new 7-month-old. Everyone, you guys know Peter. You guys met him a few times. My tire went flat.
Oh no, the gift that keeps on giving.
Right. So, yeah. So that was my morning. Went to Costco, the tire center. They fixed it. Everything's good now, and it's just like, finally, finally home, relaxing, and hanging out with my boy Logan.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I'm glad the wife and the chicklins, the babies are safe. Uh, I do know I have had on a couple occasions friends that have called and their wives have locked their keys in the car and the phone in the car and everything else important and they have to get that emergency call to say come save me. So I'm glad they're safe. I'm glad you're safe with the tire, and that's great. Anything else fun filled? You looking forward to the big turkey day, or what are you
Oh
guys
yeah,
doing for the big momentous occasion?
yeah. So, well, my mom lives here in Colorado. So we're going to be doing our family tradition. We're merging both of our traditions together, where we're watching the Detroit parade, Chicago and New York parade as well in the morning. Have like a early breakfast, and it starts at like 5 a.m. So Logan, if you and the family are interested, come on,
Did
have
you
some
say
breakfast.
5 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't be doing that. Yeah, only time you're catching my butt up at 5 a.m. is when the dog is whining and I'm hoping the wife hears him and gets up and she's learned to tune him out. So when he whines enough and I know Houston, we have a problem. We better get him outside real quick or else you're going to be waking up to something you do not want to wake up to. But beyond that, 5 a.m. is strictly for me being in deep sleep. counting those sheep. But
get
thank you for the invite. I don't, yeah, because especially
Of
because you do live up in Berthoud, and that's a stretch from my house. So if I was going to meet you at 5 a.m., that means I'm leaving at 4. So no thank you. But thank you very much.
Of course.
You'd have to have a heck of a morning spread.
Yeah.
And some mimosas or something crazy.
Oh, yeah,
for
we're
me
gonna
to
have some mimosas.
You're going to be doing mimosas?
Hey, of
Well,
course.
no, you Catholics, y'all know y'all find occasion to drink. So
we got the French, the Irish, the German. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know, all the good liquor countries are well represented. So,
but yeah, no. So after the parade, obviously it's gonna be online, so cool, comforts of our home. But after breakfast and the parades, we're going to be watching the Lions beat Green Bay, hopefully.
All right. Well, that should be a pretty darn good matchup.
Yeah,
you know, for real. I'm about that. Okay.
For sure. And then thereafter, going to be going to try and figure out if we're going to be going to in-laws' house because our in-laws' house or sister-in-law's house. My sister-in-law, she and her husband, the girls are all been dealing with some sort of flu bug or whatever. So they're like, we don't want to spread it to you, but we'll know more by tomorrow. But regardless, we're going to be having some turkey. And
all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. All the fixes.
Oh yeah. But yeah, man. How about you? How's everything going on in your world, and what are your plans for Thanksgiving?
Well, my life is as crazy as ever, and you know, this year we're just gonna stay home, you know, and do the do. I think we're gonna do a prime rib this year. Normally I do the whole turkey and all the rest, but you know, to be honest, Thanksgiving at our house is kind of like it's a pain in the ass. Let me just put it that way. And the reason why I say that is because, and I don't know if any of you out there, you know, the Army can relate to this, but you know, in my household, I do the majority of the cooking, you know, and I would say, you know, probably 90%. Let's give me credit for 89-90% of the cooking. Now, once a year, usually around Thanksgiving, my mother, who lives with my family and I, we have one of those, what do you call one of those super homes where she has her own garage and her own entrance and her own everything. It's like having an apartment built onto your home. So it's a mother-in-law suite. We just share the wall or whatever. She comes across and graces us with her presence. And my mother, who is an excellent cook, not good, excellent cook, but she never enjoyed cooking. She didn't grow up cooking. She's one of 9 kids. Her brothers did the cooking. You know, my mother thinks the kitchen should be just photographed for like Better Homes and Gardens, if that magazine's still around. It should be seen and not used. But once a year, she comes over and graces us with her blessings and her presence, and she gets in that kitchen and she cooks this and cooks that, and she really does it up. But the problem is my mother is now 78 years old, and standing up in the kitchen, even though we have, you know, the nice wood floors and we got those, you know, mats and stuff we bought specifically for her to be able to stand up in the kitchen and do whatever. It just hurts her legs. Her legs end up hurting her so that she goes through all this trouble to cook all this food and do all this, but then she doesn't want to eat. You know, so then our kids, historically speaking, they only like a couple items. They like their grandmother's mac and cheese. They want deviled eggs. They want, you know, some kind of a mashed potato and gravy, typically. But beyond that, they can care less about the rest of it. In fact, just this year alone, my 12-year-old came to me and said, "Dad, yes, son, I'm going to try turkey." Woo, are you now? Thank you. So usually I go through this whole effort. Now, I'm a Southerner, as you know. We don't just put our meats out on the thing. We got to take painstaking efforts to bring our meats to the table. So it starts, you know, usually a turkey or something starts, you know, a week before. You got to buy the turkey. And of course, we don't just get any turkey either. We usually get it fresh from a farmer that, from one of the farms out here. But if we didn't get in early enough to order our turkey, which sometimes, we're a little late on making that call, then we're going to the Whole Foods and getting the organic turkey and all that business and ordering one from there. So, we take great pride in our bird. And you got to get it home and you got to thaw it out. And then you got to put it, for myself, I put it into a brine, a wet brine. And then after a couple of days of that, then I get it out and I dry it off and get it all crispy. And then I marinate it with the seasonings and all that business. And then by the time we cook this bad boy and we put it on the table, I eat a plate. My wife eats a plate. Even though my mother is a vegetarian, most times of the year, she'll take a little snippet off the turkey. She wants just a little taste. And my kids, largely enough, at least two of the three, the oldest one now has gotten over it and he eats, he'll, two of the three will not really touch it. And so then we end up getting left with this big old bird with the dog sitting there. Is that ours tomorrow? And because, the kids, of course, don't do leftovers either. So it's like this huge production for my mother not to eat because her legs are hurting, for the kids not to eat except for the 3 or 4 items that they want, for this whole big production of food just for our family, because we have all the fixings. And the one reason why we have to have all the fixings is because I have an aunt out there that calls her baby sister, my mother. And the one thing she always asks is, what are you having for dinner at every holiday? Now, of course, my aunt is in Kentucky. She's a Kentucky Southern black woman, and they have 2 kinds or 3 kinds of turkey. They have 2 kinds of ham. They have 2 different kinds of stuffing. Some people have the stuffing and some people have the dressing, which are 2 different things, by the way. I've been trying to teach people that stuffing and dressing are different. They have the different kind of cranberry sauce. They have more pies and more cakes and more morsels and more bread than it's humanly possible to be able to fit in one house, but they do it. And then they put the soul food on top of it. So if the menu that we're serving, and she always says, what is Joseph serving for the holidays? So she puts it all on me. And if she doesn't like it, my auntie gives you one of these. That's her older black woman saying, not good enough. And so my mother feels guilty that we're not doing these big to-dos. So we do all this food for no one to eat it. And then I'm trying to, for 2 weeks after, trying to eat all this food because I hate wasting food. I hate wasting money, especially around food. And we come to this point where the dog ends up getting it. So this year, like I said, I'm just going to do a prime rib, and we're going to probably just do the couple fixings that the kids will eat, and we're going to try to make it as minimal as possible because, like I usually say, we should just go out for Chinese. Not necessarily. We did do Chinese one year. I've been trying to do it again since, or something like that. Go out to eat, have the meal, have someone else clean it up, have no fuss, no muss, and I could just come home and watch football. But so that's what our holiday is going to look like this year. And, we'll see. I mean, usually people randomly stop by miraculously around when they think you're going to have dinner. And they're always like, oh, well, we were just in the neighborhood. And I'm like,
we're not imposing or anything, right?
I can cook. So you're probably stopping by because, we'll have way more food than we have people to eat it.
So, all right. Shit talking army. So Thanksgiving dinner at Logan's house.
Well, no, Thanksgiving dinner not at Logan's house. I want to invite out. I want to come to your house. So, Army, put in the comments. What are you having? What are your family traditions? What must you have on your table for you to consider it Thanksgiving? What is the odd dish that is on the table that most people would not understand how that ended up on the table, or maybe it's a cultural thing that you have to have for it to feel like the start of the real holiday season for you. But the reason why we have this show today is because your favorite storyteller. Well, I don't know if I'm your favorite, but a storyteller. I have a story to tell for you, and I want to see if the Army can relate. Now, I got a call from a buddy of mine, and I don't know why I'm always the one people call with problems, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a good listener, or I don't know. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't get it. But this one is around manipulation. And he goes on to tell me this story, which I will impart to you. And I want to get the Army's opinion. What do you think? Who do you think is right? Who do you think is wrong? If does this happen in your home? If it does, how do you deal with it? Uh, and so on and so forth. So let me paint the picture. You ready, Daniel?
I'm ready.
Okay. So this buddy says to me that he's talking to his wife. And this is something, this is one particular example, but this is a recurring theme within their marriage. So let me make sure I paint that picture for you. This is something that happens quite often in their marriage, and it really causes him angst and anguish and pain, even though it's a very simple, no big deal kind of a thing. So he and his wife are talking, and they're on the phone for approximately an hour, and they're talking about the holiday, and they're wondering what they are going to do for the holiday, and their menu and this, that, and the other. And so because they have minimum family, they have small kids, they have minimal family, they're just going to do a little simple dinner at home. They decided not to get a big turkey and all the rest of this. They decided not to do very much. Now this person that's called me, like myself, is kind of the cook of the family. He's very big into it. He's from Louisiana, Bayou country. He takes, I can go eat at his house. There's not a lot of people I look forward to going to eat at their house, but this is one dude, like, he's one of them kind of guys that if he and his family, if they can kill it, skin it, they'll eat it. So, and it's going to be well seasoned. So, he's asking his wife, who he knows is going to be going, because the wife is picking up one of their children at a friend's house that had a play date. He knows that she's running by the store. He asked her if she would pick up. She knows she's picking up food for to make for dinner that night. He asked her if she would pick up a couple items. They decided on having a roast. He wanted to do what's called a Mississippi pot roast for Thanksgiving. It's not traditional, but they enjoy it. And so he's like, honey, would you pick up this roast and a couple items that go with it? It's like a 4-item thing that he had on his list. Now, not only did he ask this of his wife, he knows her well enough to know that he better text her the list that he wants, because no matter what he asks of her, she's going to go to that grocery store. She's going to pick everything out for the kids that they want, everything that's on her heart and mind. She's going to walk in the door, and he's going to say, hey, did you get, and she's going to be like, oh, the only thing I did not get out of all these bags that are sitting here, and the kids grabbing their chips and their popsicles or whatever the heck the kids wanted, the one thing that will not be in that bag is what he asked for. So he started having to shoot her a text on top of it, to the point where one of their kids, who's around 9 or 10, started following mom in the grocery store, and he actually put in his phone dad's list, and he would check it off to make sure dad got what dad asked for. That's how this scenario happens. So wife goes to the store, comes home. He's on the phone with her because he's coming back from the gym, and he said, hey, did you pick up, what the 4 items I asked of you? Oh, no, I didn't do that, because I thought we'd do that together. Well, no, I wanted you to pick these up for me. Well, I haven't done Thanksgiving shopping yet, so I just thought we'd do it together. Well, I understand that. I wasn't asking you to go do all the shopping, but I really wanted you to grab that roast because, similar to myself, he takes great pride in his marination. And
That's for sure.
it's already Monday, and the day's on, the big day is on Thursday, and he wants to get that meat starting to marinate in that fridge. And so the wife was like, "Well, no, I didn't think you really needed it or wanted it. I just thought we'd do it together." Well, in the midst of their conversation, which again lasted an hour, the wife says to her husband, well, when he asked her, "Hey, why don't we just do a roast instead of the turkey and all the rest?" And she's like, "Well, I'm my grandmother's granddaughter. I love a good roast." This woman, she's known for her grandmother would every time they would go visit her in the summertime, grandma would make a roast. It was a very special moment for them and their family. So this woman really loves roast. And that's why he thought he could present this for Thanksgiving and she'd be cool with it. So the husband is really perturbed. He's really not happy. He's like, "Well, so not only did we have a whole conversation on this, I then went and texted you the 4 items I wanted. 3 of the items were on one aisle. You didn't have to go all over the store. Just, get a couple little sauce packets I was looking for, and then you go over to the meat department and pick out the roast that that asked you to get." And so the wife came back and said, "Well, I didn't know what you wanted." And the husband was like, "Well, if you actually would have read my text, I put in there, grab me a chuck roast or any roast that was on sale. Doesn't matter." So there's really no wrong answer here, but he did put in the text message that he wanted a chuck roast. So she just flatly ignored it. And so as I'm talking to my buddy, he's like, "I didn't know if I just didn't matter. I didn't know if, I didn't really know how to feel, because even though it's a no big deal, I can go, I can run out the next morning, get the roast, still have time to marinate. But the point of the matter is, she came home with all this stuff for the kids again and all the stuff they're asking for. But the 4 items I asked for myself, she couldn't get. And then when we start going round and round about it, what makes it even worse is she gets upset and then she starts to cry. And the dynamic in their family and her family has always been, "Oh no, don't make baby cry." And even though baby has caused the situation, it's your job then to make her feel better about the situation she's caused. He says, "I become the bad guy because I'm upset that she's, in his opinion, has disrespected me, has not, cared enough about taking time to heed our conversation, first off. And then, if nothing else, just read your text message." And when she mentions, "Oh, yeah, I saw that you wrote me something, but I just chose to ignore it because I didn't think we were shopping for Thanksgiving." And of course, he's thinking to his brain, "Well, if you had any questions, you could have called me and I would have told you, yeah, I want to get this item early and instead of later, because you don't have to marinate the sweet potatoes. You don't have to marinate the cranberry sauce. You don't have to marinate the pumpkin pie. You don't have to marinate the rolls and the Texas toast or, whatever, the cornbread. You don't have to marinate it. This is different. This is the one item that it takes lovingly care and time to put together." So the Waterworks starts happening, and now he's like, "Oh my God, I feel bad about me." And he's like, "Wait a minute, I didn't cause this. She caused this. She needs to own it. She needs to understand that she made me out to be," fill in the blank, Army. I know some of you would have different adjectives, but
reverse
the
psychology
out there, Army, is, do you have significant others? And this doesn't have to be just husband or wife or whatever this, we have a lot of folks that watch our show, and a large majority of our audience is women. And I hear and I get and I have a lot of great female friends. Some of my closest friends in the whole world are women. And I mean, really. I mean, I have a couple really close guy friends, but right behind them, it starts my lioness army, as I like to call them. Some dear friends, and they tell me a bunch of horror stories that they deal with their boyfriends and their husbands too. So I'm not trying to make this all a a woman manipulating a man, because us men, we do stuff too. I get that.
Yeah.
But I have heard from lots of my guy friends that this is something that they have to deal with, where their significant others causes a problem of some sort or causes a situation to happen. Every action has an equal or greater reaction. According to who? Newton's law. I figured you'd have that off the top of the head, Daniel. Come on, Daniel.
Newton's law. Newton's law.
And and so she totally ignored what his wishes were. And again, this happens quite a bit, to the point of the matter where this friend of mine actually jokes and makes jokes about it and says that, his wife makes, her family proud when she sticks it to him like this. That's another long story on another day. And so I want to ask you out there, Army, does this happen in your world, in your relationship? Do you know of people that, that when they cause a problem, it could be man, it could be woman, doesn't matter, that they, in this gentleman's case, the wife just turns on the waterworks, and I don't understand why. I didn't know it was that important. I don't know why you're mad at me, and I just didn't understand what you were saying. And yes, I could have called for clarification, but I didn't. And then you're sitting there feeling like the asshole. Excuse my French, Army. You feel like you just made the black lab puppy. You just accidentally walked in the room and stepped on it, and you're like, oh! And you're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. You okay, puppy? You good? But then you have to remember, wait a minute. I have every right to be upset. I have every right to be angry. I have every right to be like, no, you're supposed to own this. Because when the situation's reversing, and Lord forbid he does something in what he's telling me, when he does something, she's up the old and around the corner. She's all in him, 2 feet deep, stomping on his short and curlies.
It's like end of the world.
End of the world. And he's supposed to sit there and take it. He can't just bust out. And then her be like, oh, it's okay, honey. You get them next time. You do. We'll do. It's my fault. It's my fault that you pissed me off because you did it. No, it's on me. So, Army, the holidays can be very happy and magical and wonderful, just like they show you on Hallmark. But they also can be, on the other hand, for some folks, the real world, the reality of the situation, they can be a little stressful. So when your husband or wife gives you the list and sends you to the store, don't go freelance. Get stuff on the list first. Put that in your cart first. Don't think about anything else. Don't look for anything else. Even if you want something that you went there to get and you pass right by it and you see it and you're like, oh, I wanted to get that. Let me stop and no. Fight the urge. Fight the power. Like P used to say, fight the power. You're way too young. You don't know that good music. You don't know it. That's all right. Go look up Public Enemy #1. I digress. But you fight that urge. You walk right by that thing, that shiny object that's caught your attention. and you look at your list and you say nothing else happens until the list, my special, beautiful, amazing person in my life, until everything that's on their list is in this cart, I will not deviate from my mission. That's my number one goal, my number one mission, my number one, outlook in life. Nothing is more important to me at that moment than what's on between me, the cart, and the lift. Now, after that, after you got the list, go crazy. Go get what you got to get. Get your potatoes, get your cranberry sauce, get your, whatever you want. We make our cornbread fresh around here, but some people go grab that Jiffy. Go do what you got to do. But when your man says to you, or your significant other, whoever it may be, when you get home from that store and that person says, hey, did you grab those couple items I had on my list? You say, they're right here, honey. Got them for you. Thanks, dear. Appreciate it. So that's my little story of the day. That's my little public service announcement. Threw in a little Public Enemy reference. Can't beat that. Yes, the rhythm, the rebel. Yeah, you don't know, Daniel. You gotta go back. Figure out where all this new hip hop ain't nothing. You gotta go get that good stuff.
Better than Eminem? Better than Eminem?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out.
No, Eminem's an amazing rapper. I don't want Detroit coming for me. Nothing like that. But, Eminem would even say, people like Public Enemy, KRS-One, some of them old cats, somebody had to inspire Eminem to be Eminem. And I'm sure if you were able to talk to Mr. Marshall Mathers, he would say, oh, yeah, I was sitting there rocking that Chuck D and that KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions and so on and so forth. So, yes, please don't come for me. But, yeah, rap did not start, Daniel, with Eminem. I'm here to tell you. There is a history. It's kind of like, civilization didn't start with the Greeks and Romans. There was something called the Egyptians and the Nile Valley, even before the Egyptians, if you do your history and all the rest of that. There's a whole lot of things went on before Socrates and Hippocrates and all them T's, So that's what we're here for, Army. We're going to give you a little everything: history lesson, music lesson, life lesson, family lesson, marriage advice. We're going to give it all to you here. So that's all I have to say. Daniel, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Do you know of people like this that deal with this kind of behavior? If so, do you have any words of wisdom, or how your friends and family deal with it, or people that have to go through this?
Yeah. Logan, I have a little story for you. So from time to time, when my wife and I first got married, it would be where she'd be like, okay, cool. Let's make a list of all the things that we need. What do you need? What do I need? Type thing. And then she's like, and I'm going to go get it after I'm done with school, or I'm going to take care of it tomorrow morning before the boys wake up or something. Something like that. And then comes and goes, and then she's like, so when are you going to go out to go shopping? I'm like, I'm in the middle of working, as an example. I'm in the middle of working, or I'm out and about, and I'm not by home. I'm in Denver, or I'm out in, I think one of the times was out in Greeley. And she wants me to get it instead. And it's like a reverse on me. She's like, well, I never said that I was going to go get it, even though she said she was going to go get it. And then I'm like, well, what the heck? And then she goes, and she just starts crying and goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm such a horrible one. I was like, no, you're fine. If you're going to do it, do it. If you want me to do it, ask me to do it. That's all you have to do. And then she's like, okay. And then, long story short with that, communication. That's what I would just say, is make sure you communicate it. And you, in that situation, your friend of yours, Logan, he didn't just text. He called her and went for an hour talking about what he needed.
Yeah, and she was
That
trying to hit him up with, well, it was the end of my work day and I was multitasking. I wasn't really paying attention. And it wasn't until he hit her, well, you were paying enough attention to remind me that you're your grandmother's granddaughter and you love a good roast. I mean, what weren't you following along? And either way, it was just a real sad situation, because instead of just saying, you know what, you're right, I didn't take what you were asking for seriously. I should have realized when you sent me a list that this wasn't just a list you were thinking, well, we'll go get this in a couple days, and these are the 4 items that I want. That this list was time sensitive, and if there was any question to that, a simple phone call will do, because we all have these walking around computers in our hand that actually you're able to call and pick up and talk to someone, and or send a follow-up text. There's all the ways you can communicate. Heck, in today's day and age, you could slide into someone's DMs, and you can do everything but send up a smoke signal with these things. And maybe that will be a communication again in the future, as it was in the past. But I'm just saying that there's so many ways that this situation could have been avoided if, in this case, this gentleman's wife would have stopped, dropped, and rolled, because this little spark caused a major fight within their marriage, and a major problem that could have been easily avoided if she would have just asked one more question, if there was any doubt what this gentleman was interested in and what he was looking for. So I'm just, hey, I know, me personally, I am not the perfect husband.
yeah, man.
I love that line in Good Will Hunting when Robin Williams is talking about his deceased wife, and he talks about her farting in bed and waking it so loud that it wakes her up, and she looks over at him and is like, oh my God, that's disgusting, or whatever he says. And he's like, he never had the heart to tell her, because, as he called them, those little picadillos made that woman his wife. Those little, small little imperfections sometimes is what makes that significant other perfect for you. Because, I tell my missus all the time, you're perfect in your imperfections. Even though sometimes I just want to, it's like a nails on the chalkboard. You're jumping on my good nerve, but this is what makes you you. And I know that I'm not perfect. I'm sure my buddy's not a perfect husband. In fact, I know he's not. But in this case, in Army, please weigh in. Let us know. I mean, I had to ring the bell, ding, 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 and say, brother, I think you won this round. You won this round. She was in the wrong. I mean, I try to call it straight down the middle when my friends call me with situations. Sometimes I have to look at them and say, no, brother, that one's on you. Sometimes in this case, like I had to say, no, bro, I think you're entitled to your feelings. You're entitled to pout a little bit. You're entitled to be a little steamed, a little miffed, a little, you have a right to be pissed. And I would say to his missus, who I'm very fond of, love dearly. She's a sister from another mister. You know who you are out there, and I know you watch our show. And I'm sure you're going to be pissed that he called me up and I'm making a show about it. But that's the breaks when you got a friend like me that has a channel. But I really, when we talk about these things, or some of the other subject matters we've talked about, whether it be bullying or, closure, or, nicknames, or different things that we've covered, we don't say this just to talk. We know that, and we're hearing from so many of our audience, how they can relate. And I'm sure there's going to be people out there that have their own things going on within their own relationships, that they just wish they had a buddy that they could call and say, hey man, this is me. This is what I'm dealing with. And I'm proud to be that person. And I thank people for trusting me sometimes with their deepest, darkest secrets, or their things that they're struggling with within their relationships, especially a relationship like a marriage. So I don't take it lightly, But I am asking you out there, shit talking army, what do you think? Who do you think was right in this? Who do you think, maybe not even right or wrong, basically I would say, how would you advise this man to handle it? For our female listeners, what would you say to, this man's wife in this scenario? What would you ask, maybe give her suggestions on, what she could have done differently or how she could do differently in the future, since this has been something that has been a recurring theme within their marriage, that she does this, especially in and around going to the grocery store. Something that seems simple, benign, no big deal, but obviously this is something that makes it very sensitive for him. So we would be very interested to hear your stories, things that you deal with, maybe give examples of other situations similar to this that you have to deal with, and how you've overcome it or dealt with it or made it better. And we wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving out there. Sorry to put a little downer on the cranberry sauce and the cornbread and the apple pie and the pumpkin pie and the sweet potato pie and the bread puddings.
The turkey.
The turkey. We're not in the 15 different types of ham. And what killed my uncle years ago, I said, don't you eat yourself into a grave, because he had some health issues, and someone brought him the chitlins, and Lord knows, he had that good Thanksgiving, and he was gone the next week. So, be careful out there, people. Be careful. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the festivities. Enjoy the fellowship. Enjoy the bonding, moments that what these holidays are meant to bring. But also, don't allow the little things, the little fly in the ointments, spoil your time. And I'm hoping for my friend and his wife and his family out there that this situation, that they were able to hug it out and work it out, and hopefully everybody, because I'm sure he probably could have handled things a little better. Hopefully he and the wife can just do better next time. So, unless you got anything else, Daniel, that's it, my friend. Thank you, Army. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you to our sponsors, OnPoint Media and High Praise Construction and Remodeling. Again, for our audience, if you have any show ideas, any thoughts, any comments, anything that you would like to write to us directly that goes a little bit deeper than what you could put in the comments section, you're welcome to email us at, where at, Daniel?
2dadstalkingshit@gmail.com.
2dadstalkingshit, the way it sounds, at gmail.com. All right, Peter, sounds like he needs you, buddy. I'm going to let you go, but thank you, and we are out.